Hello everyone, so welcome to my first full vlog for some travel that I'm doing. Today I'm travelling from London to Chicago. I will be heading over there to do a conference where I'll be giving the keynote talk, and I want to kind of use this trip as an excuse to try vlogging. So we're going to have a full vlog video for each of the days that I'm there. So that will be today, which is Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and then Tuesday night I'm travelling home, so there'll probably be a travel home vlog as well. I'm not sure when these will get uploaded, but that's the plan. I really hope you enjoy this content. If you do, please do make sure to like this video and also consider subscribing. I'm going to be doing lots more travel and tech content as well, so please do check it out. Thank you very much and enjoy the video. So today we're heading over to Chicago, which means getting to Heathrow. Today I decided to give the Heathrow Express a try, so that means a quick taxi ride from where I live to Paddington, and from there we're going to grab a train and see how quickly that takes us over there. I've heard good things, it's not something I've actually used before, so let's give it a go. So one thing I will say is it's about 5:30 in the morning, so traffic was non-existent, which meant a very quick trip, only about 15 minutes for me over to Paddington. And from here we are going to hop on to the Heathrow Express. So just walk into the station, and what I did find out, which is quite interesting, is you can now just tap on to the Heathrow Express. I believe on peak it costs £25, so it's a pretty expensive option, but at 5:30 in the morning it was only about £10 for me to use this train, and it claims to get you to Heathrow in 15 minutes from Paddington, so it's much quicker than taking the tube or even a taxi. I guess if you're a party or a family, it might be cheaper to take a taxi than use the Heathrow Express, because obviously you can get 5 people in a taxi without a problem. But let's give it a go. So tapped in and off we go. So I did try to get some good shots of us on the train, but unfortunately the train windows were absolutely disgusting, as you can see, so didn't get very good image. But I can definitely say that it did only take about 15 minutes for us to get into Heathrow to Terminal 5, and it was definitely the most convenient way to get to the airport. The taxi is, maybe better if you're a family, but the roads are always so busy, it's going to take much longer. And the tube is inconvenient as well because there's lots of stops involved. So this is definitely the fastest way, and I can see why you pay the premium. I think it's worth it personally. Okay, and we're here. So it really was very quick. I have to say it was definitely 15 minutes, and we are straight into Terminal 5. We just tap back out again, and there we go. There's no need to buy tickets anymore. There's no need to book. I do think if you book ahead of time, you can save some money, definitely. But I'm way too disorganized for that. So tap in and out, job done. And we're now at the airport in the terminal and ready to check in. I had actually checked in online already. However, it did say that I still needed to go ahead to one of the terminals and just kind of do an extra check, I guess, to make sure that I wasn't carrying anything I shouldn't be. I printed out, by doing that check, it printed me out a paper boarding pass, and so with that, we headed off into security. It was really quite straightforward. There wasn't any queues. I was worried. Obviously, we're flying during the time when there's been lots of issues at Heathrow, but at this time in the morning, it was very quiet indeed, so I was very happy. Let's see what security's like. So security was incredibly fast, a little bit too fast really. It seemed to be all going too well, but what that did mean is I was way ahead of time. My flight wasn't going to be leaving for another at least 3 hours. I definitely anticipated some queues, so what that meant is I thought, let's grab some breakfast. What I did find was, as always, the restaurants that are immediately after security, absolutely packed. There was queues for people waiting to get into them. But if you head downstairs into the main area of the terminal, there's a large Wetherspoons just around the corner, which was perfect and served a full English fry-up, and it was a great way to get started considering I now had a lot more time on my hands. So yeah, I was very happy about that. So, as I did have a lot of spare time, I thought one thing I'd do is stretch my legs and go for a walk down the length of the terminal. Definitely the main terminal area is where you'll find all the shops, your duty free, all the different kind of expensive jewelry outlets and all those sorts of fun things. But this is definitely where the main bulk of the shops are. So I definitely recommend staying in this area until close-ish to your boarding time. If you go over to the different kind of sub-terminals, different areas, there's very few shops there, very few things to do. So while my plane already said that I needed to go over to one of the different sub-terminals, I did stay here for a while because there's just more to look at. So after a little while, it was kind of getting close to time for boarding, so I took the elevators down and headed over to the train that kind of just takes you across to the different sub-terminals that are at Terminal 5. Very quick, doesn't take long at all, but obviously when there are lots of planes going on, they can be quite busy, so make sure to leave at least a good sort of 20 minutes, I would say, just in case you can't get onto one of the trains, you have to wait for the next one, and that way you can make sure you're to your actual gate in plenty of time. And then there is actually also a walking route if you prefer. You can actually just walk the length. It's not very far really, it's just going underneath the runway and up to the next building, so it doesn't take long at all. But once we were there, I could see that actually I was still a little bit early, so there wasn't many people about, which meant I could grab a seat right by the window and do a little bit of plane spotting. Now we are at Terminal 5, so of course everything is going to be BA. This is their British Airways terminal, but there was quite a lot of planes about. It was kind of nice, and it did also look like our plane was already at the gate, which is also great. Always good to see when you know your plane's actually already here and you're not waiting around and there aren't going to be extra delays. So like I said, we did a bit of plane spotting, kind of just chilled out for a little while, but not before too long it was time to board the plane, which was great. So we are actually flying on the A380 today, which I'm sure the title of this video already says, but it was really great to be able to get back on such an amazing plane. We are on the upper deck today because I just find, as we are flying economy, it's a better place to be. It's a much smaller cabin and it feels much more cozy. But of course we did get to walk through and see the business class seats, which I really do like. I think they're a very good product. And then also in through the sort of premium economy as well, which again, they're not bad seats. I'm not a huge fan of the solid sides to the seats. I kind of feel like that actually makes things feel a bit smaller than you do get with the economy that doesn't have the fixed sides. But maybe that's just me. But eventually we did make it back to the back of the plane into the small economy upstairs kind of cabin and find our seat. So now we're in our seat, we can take a look at what we have. Of course, we have the remote, which is looking a bit aged now. This is definitely an older A380, but let's just try and get that back in its slot. I did struggle to do this one-handed, I must admit. But there we go. We've got a USB socket, which is nice to be able to charge things. And we do have a fold-out table that folds in two and just about fits. There's just about enough leg room. As you can see, I am quite tall at about 6 foot, so my knees were basically touching the seat in front of me the whole time. But we have got the safety sheet that gives us all the information about the A380. We did also have some Dettol wipes, which is nice to try and keep things a little bit more hygienic, as we do still have COVID going on. We have some headphones, which were just very basic in-ear headphones. I won't be using those, but they are there if you need them. And as you can see, my knees kind of touching the front seat. There's also the entertainment box down below at this seat, which is a little bit of a problem, but you do get the extra space next to you. This is why I got the cabin. You get this extra cubby hole where I sort of kept my laptop bag, and also it just works nicely as an armrest and a space that you can actually use, which is really nice to have in economy. And one of the reasons why I definitely recommend you go for the economy upstairs in the A380 for BA if you can do it. Definitely a lot more space, even if you do have to sacrifice a little bit of leg room for that box. And before too long we were pushing back and then taxiing through to the runway. Of course, because we were at Terminal 5, that is at the right at the bottom of the airport, and we needed to be at the other end to take off. So it was quite a long taxi. I do have a full video up on my channel of that taxi if you're interested in kind of seeing all the different planes that we went by. That is one of the great things about that, is we saw the whole airport and everything that was going on. It was really quite fun. But we made it to the end of the runway, and we sort of took off and headed for Chicago. Because of course it is the A380, it was definitely a much longer sort of takeoff and reaching up to cruising altitude. It definitely took a while, but you get some really nice shots of kind of leaving London and heading out towards the ocean. Definitely a lot of fun, and I really enjoyed that. So now that we are cruising, we very quickly, kind of within, I'd say, half an hour of takeoff, started the snack service, which was a couple of cans of Coke, which is always nice, and some pretzels. I don't know if it's just me, but I always feel like pretzels is the airline snack, and it always reminds me of being on a plane. Comment down below if you agree. I think it's just a great snack to have. But quickly after that, actually maybe an hour later, we had the dinner service, which was a vegetarian pasta, which was very nice actually. I really enjoyed it. It had a toffee cheesecake kind of dessert as well, and a small chickpea salad, which was a bit odd. I'm not actually 100% sure what this was, but it tasted alright, so that was fine. And of course cheese and crackers as well. One thing I did want to check out was what the Wi-Fi was like on the plane. So you can go to the BA Wi-Fi network, and you can buy Wi-Fi. You've also got access to kind of more information about British Airways, and there's obviously lots of things like you can get information about where you're going to, see in-flight entertainment and all that sort of stuff. But what I did find was that the Wi-Fi packages were quite expensive. The sort of streaming service or just access to general internet was £5 for an hour, or £18 for your full flight. And if you wanted messaging, you could do that for £3 for an hour. But I just found that to be quite expensive, and really actually enjoy being able to switch off during a flight. It's one of those rare times where you can have no access to internet and not feel like you have to try and communicate with the outside world. So sometimes it's nice to just be able to switch off and not worry about Wi-Fi. Hello, so I thought I should take a look at the toilet. So this was probably 3 hours into the flight, and I have to say it was a little disappointing. It was quite dirty in there. It's unfortunate, but I guess this is kind of how things happen. If the team are busy, they haven't got time to kind of clean the toilet, or if people are just generally mistreating it. But you do have the baby changing kind of table and facilities. It was a standard bathroom. It was fine. There was nothing really wrong with it. So for the rest of the flight, I kind of just relaxed really, watched some of the in-flight entertainment. I also had my iPad, and again that side kind of extra armrest was super useful as a place to put my iPad, especially as the person in front of me decided to keep their chair reclined the whole trip. But that's fine, it was comfortable enough. But suffice to say, as we were getting ready to prepare for landing, I was ready to get off the plane. It was good to be over and done with it. And of course, I also have a full landing video on my YouTube as well, so please do go check that out. But it wasn't too long, and we were landing in Chicago and getting off the plane again, which was lovely to have happen. I must admit, I was so kind of happy to be done with the flight that I kind of didn't really film anything in the Chicago Airport, or even kind of my trip into Chicago itself. But we are actually staying within the loop, so I thought it would be nice to just kind of look at our hotel room. So this is the room, and here's the bathroom, and here's me again. Very happy to be in the hotel room for sure. Really nice, good sized shower, which actually had really good water pressure as well, super important. And yeah, you know, we walked through here and into kind of a little corridor area with a cupboard with kind of all those extra amenities, some coat hangers, a bag stand, but then into the main room. Really comfortable bed, nice big sized bed. That's one thing I love about American hotels, is they always have big beds, and a pretty nice view as well. We're only on the 4th floor here, so not kind of towering over anything, but it was a very comfortable room. And that is everything. We are here. We made it. It took a little while. It was a long old trip, but I am now in my hotel room. I can now take a break, enjoy the AC, and have a little bit of a nap. There's a speakers drinks going on later for the event, and I'm gonna go check that out, but I will probably not be vlogging that. If I do, I'll stick it in next, but otherwise, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Thank you very much for watching. If you have enjoyed this video, please do hit that like button and don't forget to subscribe. More coming very soon.